So I moved to Timișoara like in 2008. I started studying computer science over there. And then somehow I ended up working in computer science. I worked for about 9 years or so in a big multinational company where I learned a lot about processes, about working with huge teams. But somehow, in the meantime, I got hooked in the startup world. I got hooked with an event called Startup Weekend. That was my entry gateway into the startup ecosystem. It happened back in 2013, and I got hooked ever since. And it helped me a lot. The fact that having a technical background and being all about the people and being super community focused, it helped me a little bit to bridge the gap in between these two worlds. So what we strive to do is first and foremost bring the entire community together, develop a local but even actually a regional ecosystem in the west part of Romania. We want to bring together everyone that's part of the ecosystem, be it founders, be it privates, be it the public sector, bring them all together in order to have these synergies between them. And with this, we've got Timișoara Startups as the platform for what happens in terms of programs and support for the founders. We have the co-working space in which we can host everybody and have the events taking place. And then we have PRAU, which is the conference that focuses on building digital products, building better digital products, newer digital products, building digital products that start in Timișoara and then end up putting Timișoara and the region on the map, on a global one, hopefully. So somehow the end goal, if it'd be to ask some of the key stakeholders in the community, would be we definitely would like to see a few unicorns in a few years. Maybe the guys at Grosciano have a really good word for it. Maybe not unicorns, maybe moonicorns. Close to that, not yet there, but still success stories. Because with them, we've got mentors in the community. With them, we have examples that, hey, they made it happen. Let's see how we can help you make it happen. And it's a mission. It's something that's going to be long term. We started back in 2013, and then 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it's going to take. But the important thing is that we get to grow. We get to do things closer and together as much as possible. So the good thing is that we've seen it grow. We've seen a lot of things improve in terms of the ecosystem, be it more startups, being a few vertical emerging, like we have the medtech one. We can name a few startups in a vertical right now. So that's something that we're super proud of. And then what we've seen is that most of the actors in the ecosystem are present. Most of them already work together. So we're working super closely with the universities. We're working super closely with some of the privates. We have an angel network that started in Timișoara. So we have everything from education all the way to receiving your first investment rounds. We're working on getting the public sector as much as possible in the story as well, because the definition of an ecosystem is that we have them present, acknowledging, and then contributing actively to our mission of having these success stories in Timișoara. And that's something that somehow boosts our energy, because being a super long-term mission, a lot of activities happen non-profit. There's a lot of new people that get involved in, but there's a lot of work that happens and it's not paid, or it's not rewarded like it is at a job. So we're working with all these scarce resources that we have in order to be able to thrive and to build the ecosystem. But with this in mind, we've seen success stories. We've seen it grow. And we're not just giving the same company over and over as an example. And at the same time, you asked about where do we see it in 5 years, in 10 years. Again, maybe another one or two verticals emerging. And here we're trying to somehow leverage the fact that we're an automotive city. We have more than 5,000 digital professionals working in automotive in Timișoara. We have to see something out of that more than just them working for some big companies. So I'm hoping for another one or two verticals emerging. At the same time, those success examples, those unicorns, those startups that are going to be at a certain point, and then this active collaboration within the ecosystem. So that's our main focus. Everybody getting their sleeves up and working together because we have the same mission, we have the same goal. Let's boost the ecosystem because that's the way in which everybody thrives. Our mission is to start as small as possible. I mean, the end goal is to get them actively involved. The end goal is to have similar resources placed in order to boost the ecosystem, like the friends that Make IT already have, like the friends that Fix in Cluj have, like the guys at Rubik have it. We want to have them actively involved with a role, with money, with resources, with infrastructure that they put towards this community. But in order to reach that point, we want to start at the very beginning. We're at the very beginning with it. We want to slowly endorse the fact that innovation in tech startups, building new digital products, new ventures in Timișoara is a priority for the municipality. And let's start with that. Let's acknowledge that this should be a priority, thinking forward in 5, 10, 20 years. So let's embrace that thinking forward. Let's start endorsing the events and the ones that are doing this within the ecosystem with slow to no resources. Let's exchange communication. Let's exchange a few key people that would be actively supporting this initiative, and then slowly moving into a picture, a movie, a scene in which they actively, slowly start to contribute. And we can build teams. It doesn't have to be about the money. The money also helps. We definitely need to have public money in order to move things around, and it's also somewhat a prestige, a title that the city can get out of it. I mean, we're a big university city. We've got more than 400,000 people living in Timișoara in the region. I mean, it's something that you can be proud of. There's a lot of background in the history of the city when it comes to technology and the way it got developed commercially. So we definitely have to leverage that, but at the same time not wait for things just to happen. So the call to action is let's get things together. Let's slowly roll the boulder because we've got a lot of work to do. So looking at it from a ecosystem perspective, we had an advantage economically speaking because we had a lot of multinational companies coming in the city early on that boosted the economy locally, but also it somehow narrowed down the chances of people moving in a more entrepreneurial way. So it was easier and more comfortable for the people in the city, which are smart, have a lot of knowledge, to go on a paved path rather than explore this. And that's something that worked really well until a certain point, a point in which, I don't know, we were in 2015 or something like that, in which other cities that didn't have this, and let's say Cluj, which is similar in size, which didn't have this, had to find solutions. So with that struggle, and when you're struggling, when you're hungry, when you want to get things moving, you're going to get them moving. So if we look now from an entrepreneurial and ecosystem point of view, we, in terms of new ventures, in terms of the startup ecosystem, with two cities being the same size-ish, we see Timișoara somewhere in behind. We're putting way much more effort in getting these unlocked somehow, and somehow bringing the perspective, hey, let's try entrepreneurship, let's try the professional way, and then at the end of the day, you get to decide what you want to try out, but at least explore it, at least open up to this being a pathway, because at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is super hard. It's not for everybody. But 9 to 5 being a professional as well. It might be until a point in life, or it might be that it's not for you, or we want to encourage people to try it out, and that from that point on, they get to decide what they want to do. But with this, we want to strive and to strike to push this this entrepreneurial way of handling things forward. That's a super good question, because at the end of the day, the community is about the community that you have in your region, but it's also being part of a way much bigger community. And that means that the cities across Romania and the community leaders that somehow run the ecosystems on a local scale have to be connected. And we're using a lot of events, we're using a lot of context where we get to stay connected. We're working closely with community leaders in all the cities in Romania, be it Oradea, be it Cluj, be it Bucharest, be it Piatra Neamț, Iași, Sibiu, Brașov. I mean, we're always trying to collaborate, because we know that if we harness all of the know-how, all of the energy, all of the connections that all these regional, local stakeholders have, we get to accelerate this growth of each individual community. And we're staying connected to each other. We're staying connected with other communities outside of the country as well, because we need to bring external know-how as much as possible. We need to be able to showcase what we have outside as well. So it's some sort of an exchange program that constantly goes on, because at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is not something that you can learn from a book. You have to always keep on talking. You always have to have mentors. You always have to exchange new ideas, because that's where the crazy new ones pop up. That's definitely a good one, and I'm sure that I only have a bit of a piece of the puzzle. I've seen it grow. So I've seen it grow. I've seen that there more and more ventures getting created. I've seen that we've got more business angels, we've got more VCs, we've got everybody looking at Central and Eastern Europe like it being a new spring of hope of some sort. But at the same time, I think that we could definitely move at a bit of a faster pace. I mean, it's like we're just jogging, while hey, we could definitely run. I mean, we've got all the resources, we've got no excuses. We're connected. I mean, you can fly everywhere instantly. You've got the internet connecting you to anybody everywhere in a matter of minutes, seconds. So there's no excuse in us driving it a bit faster than that. The mindset. I mean, it's yet still way too cozy, way too comfortable to go on a paved path, get a house, get a mortgage, get a dog, die. It's easier. It's easier. It's more comfortable. Entrepreneurship is a roller coaster, right? It's a headache. It's a mess. Building communities, getting people together, getting them on the same page, getting them to. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It is way much more rewarding at the end of your life. At the end of the day, at the end of, it's way much more rewarding. But it takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy. So we are at the point where we're reaching that critical mass of key people being able to move ecosystems forward and being able to drive all of this. But still, we have a lot of comfortable people to work with and that's not something bad. That's a message that we're doing okay. But what happens when we won't be doing okay? What happens when things are gonna get difficult? We want to be prepared for those times. We want to enable the people to have the resources that they need whenever things are gonna get difficult. And if we're talking about being a really good tech hub, we're good at executing, but we're not that good at driving things. So we talk in terms of tech solutions, but we don't talk in terms of digital products, which the difference is that one of them has a paying customer. And that's where the money comes from. So we want to somehow shift this mindset and broaden the horizon on, hey, we need to create more value at the end of the day, because that's the only way we're going to be safe, and that's the only way things are going to move forward. So at Grow Channel, my role is to look for startups. I'm looking for startups all the way across Central and Eastern Europe. We're looking about at 2,000 startups per year. We end up out of that selecting about 60 that end up at the pitching sessions that we have. And out of that, the investors get to decide in what they end up investing. There's usually about 10, 12 of them which end up going above a threshold of 50K that we're looking to invest in them. In terms of Grow Channel as an organization, we're looking to bridge this gap and somehow to enable investors and to enable new people adding this asset class as investing in tech startups to their portfolio, and we're taking care of the entire process for them. So you can come and see already pre-vetted startups. You just get to decide in what kind of startups you'd like to invest, and then all the due diligence, all the process, everything is handled by Grow Channel in order to ease your work into this. And then the important part is that we get to keep the connection between the founders and the ones who invested in them, so that it becomes an active relationship. Because investing in early stage startups is a lot about mentorship, a lot about support. Yes, the money is an enabler for the founders, but at the end of the day, they need advice on what they should be using the money on, how they should be using it on, what kind of steps they should be avoiding, and so on. I'm gonna go tomorrow to a debate between Israel and Romania in terms of tech startups. And I've seen how the map of Israel overlaps the map of Romania in terms of size, population, and everything. And I also saw the way it overlaps on unicorns. So my hope somehow here is that we're gonna fast pace it a little bit. We're gonna move a little bit faster in terms of all these newer success stories, all these new founders which have learned a lot, and we've got a lot of them in the past years. We have the biggest Series A this year, right? In Europe. All these founders get to give back, and it's about giving back. It's about learning from each other. It's about mentorship, so that we get to accelerate this learning process. And my hope is that we get to see new success stories, put Romania on a global map, bring more awareness to Romania, bring more attention to the fact that yes, we can do things over here. We're super smart, super capable, and amazing people at the end of the day. So there's no excuse to move it faster, better. It's just about working together. I don't know if I'd go to. I, I have something in mind right now about from zero to hero. No, that's definitely a super tough one. And then my mind goes a lot on yeah, definitely we can do it here, make it happen in Romania. And, yeah, making it happen in Romania. Um, and 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 yeah, making it happen in Romania. rocking it in Romania. Um, Putting Romania on the map where it should be. Hey, find out where Romania is. Uh, I think we're doing super good, and I think that we need to show this to the world. We need to show this to the world, and we need to bring the world closer to us. And I somehow use this, use it as a working title, play with it. But I'm super convinced that you guys are gonna come up with the best title for this documentary.